Hey everyone, Derek Weber here at DG Elementary.
Hi, Sydney Sanford.
We are here to provide our second family learning session. We're really excited about it. We've been looking forward to this one for a while, one we've kind of had on our to-do list really since we started thinking of doing these. We're really building off of that first one, which was about kids, their emotions, and regulating those emotions, affirming them, and what we can do as adults and as parents to help kids manage our emotions. I guess we're not necessarily to control them, but also to how do we react with those emotions,
how to best support.
Yes, and we provide a lot of great resources. So if you want to, we'll show you where you can access that previous recording, previous resources here at the end of this presentation. But this one is just, as the screen says there, practical ways to support your child at home before and during ISASP testing. So here we go.
All right, so we have three main parts to our conversation tonight. We'll go over what ISASP is, what it's not, and how we kind of use it here at school. We talk a little bit about our focus specifically at DG. We can speak a lot more on that than any other building. However, we can touch on just what our focus is as a district as well. And then we kind of break down that preparation of, okay, what can you do? What do we do here at school first? But then also what can you do at home? How can you best support your children as they are getting ready and as they are going throughout those testing days?
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to also provide some handouts, different activities, things that you can do at home to also support your child or children who may be taking the ISASP test, just to ease some of that, the stress, the nerves, all the things, bring comfort into your home as best as you can, while we are also doing the same here at school.
So we're going to dive right in. The first thing we're going to do is our ISASP overview. Like, what is it, right? Because when we were in school, it was called Iowa Test of Basic Skills, where you had, you got your booklet, you had to grab that number 2 pencil. You had to make sure you had like 2 or 3 of them. They had to be sharpened before the test because you couldn't sharpen during the test. We had the bubble sheets. And you had to fill them out a certain way. You had to make sure you filled them in really full. You couldn't be too light. You couldn't do it too dark because you'd poke a hole through the sheet.
Yeah.
And
don't go outside the lines.
Yes, you had to make sure you're doing the right test. How many times did a kid raise their hand and said, I did the wrong test. I was putting answers in the wrong one. So that's not the process anymore. One thing I forgot, I used to notice almost the right pictures. I finished the test. So I was like, man, there's that was like a dog as I filled all these
the patterns
dots. Yes,
that you're noticing.
But that doesn't happen. It's different now.
A lot more user friendly.
Yes, it is. So what ISASP is the Iowa Statewide Assessment of Student Progress. This is a yearly test for students in grades 3 through 11. So they'll take it every year. And there's 4 main tests. There's the reading, writing, math, and science. Now, science is a little bit different. Grades 5, 8, and 11 are the only grades that do science. So everyone does reading, writing, math, and then 5th, 8th, and 11th do science. This test that all the ISAPS does is helps us understand how students are growing over time. We keep data on this. We can talk about that here in a second too, but we have all the information back from when the juniors are in 3rd grade taking the test. We still have that data. And that test has changed over time. They've changed things. It's gone electronic. It's all on the computer now. It's a program. It's called Test Nav. And they get on that program. They enter their ticket. They have different tools at their disposal that we didn't have. They do have calculators on the math test on the program. They do have an answer eliminator, which is really cool. If you know one answer is wrong, you can use the answer eliminator to click out of an answer and actually X's it out for you. And there's other tools available for them. So a lot different. And also it's timed, but it's also every kid gets, it's a recommended amount of time, and you can tell how fast it took the test, but each kid has unlimited time, which is nice. So kids are actually able to pause tests. So if they decide to take the test at 9:30 in the morning and it's getting close to lunchtime and there's one kid that's left testing, they can pause their test and resume at a later time. So that
again, recesses or specials, we accommodate a lot to be able to fit it all in one day. So
again, different, But, in my experience as a teacher and as a principal, it seems like it's a lot more user friendly for the kids.
Yep.
Yep.
What ISASP is not, the way that we view that here, and hope that many view ISASP is it's not a measure of your student's worth. It's not a reflection of your child and who they are. Again, it's just a data point for us to be able to use. And it's not the only way we measure learning as well. I mean, we pull a lot of different areas into how we view child's learning here at school. ISASP is just one of them. And again, it's just kind of one piece of the bigger puzzle for us here at school. We pull just different like classroom activities, daily effort, teacher observations. I'm thinking like anything throughout the year that shows growth. ISASP is just one of those moving parts. So a single test on a single day, it just does not define your child.
Yeah. And when she mentioned that it's not the only way we measure learning, like we also take the FAST screeners that's done 3 times throughout the year. We put a decent amount of stock into that, but we also are looking at, classroom assessments. We're also looking at observations from teachers, other types of assessments, formative assessments, and those are all part of the puzzle.
Yep.
Right. I think ISASP is the thing that I think of first when we think about tests and results, because that's what we see like on our district page. Like our district page always shares out results from specific buildings and the district as a whole. But why there's such an emphasis on ISASP is because it is a statewide assessment. All kids in the state of Iowa, with the exception of a few, take these assessments.
Yep.
Right. So that's the only assessment that everyone takes, and it's the only piece of evidence that we can point to and compare it to other schools, other districts, and really get that comparison. So that's why it's made such a big deal, and why we do put an emphasis on it. But again, something that we just preach hardcore. We just had an assembly today, and the main message was this score is not a reflection of you.
Yep.
Or even what kind of a student you are. Right. It's something we want you to try your best on. That's what we're gonna look at, and we'll really dive into that here too.
Yeah.
So
yep.
So we've kind of already started talking a little bit about how we use the ISASP data. Again, it helps teachers understand student strengths and needs. The difficult thing about this year is last year and the year before that, we actually got scores back pretty instantaneous. Actually, it was really quick. It was just a few days. Usually almost before the end of the window, we were getting initial results back, and we were able to report out on that. It was really nice. That's going to look a little bit different this year. We might get some initial results back, but we won't have full results back until the fall. So it is a little harder to make any kind of. It's always been hard to make changes based on ISASP data because it is later in the year. We're not, we're starting to wrap up some things, or starting to prepare for end of the year tests. So we can't make a ton of decisions based on ISASP data at this point in the year, but it does kind of guide decisions for next year. It also provides a snapshot of progress over time. Again, we keep track of all those scores on our data wall, and we're able to see all that information from past years. It guides instruction and small group support. So whether it's tag or enrichment, like something like if we do use this as a data point, right? It isn't like you're supposed to score in a certain percentile to be eligible for tag. Also, if kids struggle and they don't meet that proficiency, that target score, they might be get some extra support through interventions or tier 2 support. So it guides a lot of the small group instruction that we do, whether it's enrichment or remediation. And then also just helps us improve our school programs. We have an MTSS process. In our building, we have an LST process. And we just, again, it's another piece of the puzzle. This is also, these 4 things up here are also true about a lot of other assessments or observations or teacher feedback. Like these things are all true, but again, ISASP does these things as well.
So we will dive in, even though we've kind of touched a little bit on it, about our focus. But before we even think about our focus, we want to take into consideration where our students are coming from, what they might be feeling right now, what you might be noticing at home, as we may be noticing some of these similar changes here at school. And so with testing coming up, we want to just normalize all the feelings. Your child may be feeling a range of emotions, but also maybe they're feeling just one or two. They might be feeling scared. They might be feeling that pressure. As we do emphasize that this is an important test. However, we do have a lot of other conversations where maybe they're starting to feel a little bit more comfortable and confident as well. Maybe your child feels a little indifferent, doesn't really care one way or another. Maybe your child is really excited about it. I mean, there's a whole range of emotions, and there's no right or wrong for how they may be feeling when it comes to this ISASP test. Because of how they may be feeling, we might notice some changes as well in their demeanor, in their behavior. And so you might notice if they are feeling a little bit more worked up, anxious, nervous, scared, pressured in any way, like they might have some higher irritability where they more easily get frustrated with things. They might want to avoid certain tasks, certain conversations. Maybe they want to avoid school sometimes as they know it's coming up. Maybe you're noticing some physical signs that maybe they're feeling like a little bit more tired. Maybe they are having trouble sleeping. Maybe you notice that they are complaining of a headache or stomach ache more often, as sometimes anxiety works in our bodies in those ways and truly affects those physical sides of us as well. And so you also might notice that because of these things, because of how they're feeling, they are needing more reassurance from you, or they're looking for that more connection, just more time conversation with you as they are feeling some big feelings right now. And that's, we're talking specifically 3rd through 5th grade. However, that can go all the way up through high school as well. I mean, tests loom over us and we feel differently. Some people just don't like tests and some people are totally fine with it. So we're kind of just over here supporting all of it.
Yep. And it's interesting. Like we talk about the physical signs of stress, like that's a real thing. There's a book that says, the body keeps the score, where they talk about stress. They talk about anxiety or, trauma, for example, but how the effect that has on the body, like it can make your head hurt.
Right.
It can, make you have trouble sleeping, can make you more tired. It's like they actually say, trust your gut. That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Like the saying actually says, like, you actually have a feeling in your gut, like they say to trust your gut because your body's trying to tell you something.
Right.
So yeah, it's just interesting. There's a lot of good research on that. And then also we go back to normalizing things. Like we did a lot of this stuff in our first session too, talked about normalizing feelings, affirming them, like making sure they know, like, you're not wrong for feeling that. There's not a wrong way. There's not a wrong emotion. Right. So again,
and if your child feels like all cool, calm, and collected about it, then it's like, okay, maybe they, don't need more conversation about it. So we don't want to also anticipate, we can just kind of open the door for all feelings, but we don't want to kind of put them in a box of, this is a really big test. Maybe you should be feeling nervous. If they're feeling okay, maybe they're good with it. And we've done a lot of prep here and we can continue that prep at home too.
Yeah. And we did an assembly today and I asked students, like, who raise your hand, to be honest, who's feeling nervous, who's feeling a little scared maybe. And a lot of hands.
A lot of hands. And that was a range of 3rd through 5th grade. Like I was seeing a lot of 5th graders' hands as well, whereas they've done this now for 2 years, kind of, a little bit more comfortable with it. However, it's still something that's and
then you also have
big task.
Also have some 3rd graders who are nervous because they don't know what to expect.
Right. So unknown.
Yep. And there's kids also that said that raised their hands they were kind of apathetic. They didn't really care one way or another. Right.
Yep.
So,
and we take it all.
Yes, we do. Yep. All right. So our focus here at DG especially is effort over results. We emphasize doing your best, not being perfect. Effort, persistence, and attitude matter most. We celebrate hard work and growth. Then we say confidence plus calm. That means you're giving your best effort. When we had our assembly today, I told them at the end, I said, if you can take one thing away from anything I've talked about during this assembly is like, I don't care what you score. I mean, I do, but I'm telling them like, I want to see your best effort.
Mhm.
All of your teachers want to see your best effort. If you bomb this test, we're still here for you. We're going to support you tomorrow.
Mhm.
But if you're trying your best, that's what we're going to celebrate. That's what we're shooting for. And we actually, our assembly is, I explain the process of they can actually earn rewards based on that effort. So what we do is I create a rubric. It's got things like preparing for the tests, giving best effort, taking your time, just all good test taking strategies, being prepared, all those different skills that we really preach. And what we do is every testing day, I go to each classroom, and each day the kids score themselves as a class. Because I told them, I'm not in your class. I can't grade you on this. You guys got to tell me. You got to give me some good reasons for it too. How do you think you did on participating? In the days leading up to this, how would you grade yourself on being prepared and organized before the test? They got to give me a score out of 10, and they got to justify it, and then the teacher will tell me if they agree or not. And the kids are very honest. Like, it would be easy for them to, say, well, we got 10s on everything because they want to earn a better reward. But they're honest, right? Well, we probably got an 8. We could have been at a 9 or 10, but we kind of did this. Like, so it's an awesome way to just emphasize the effort in taking your time, because we know our kids are smart. We know they can do all the things that are on here, but sometimes we see a lot of kids that are getting done after 10 minutes.
They're rushing through
just to get it done. Maybe it's uncomfortable. We got to slow down. We got to take our time and just give our best effort. And then let the scores fall where they may, right?
Yep.
So that's what we offer here. And we really, really hammer that home. So.
And we do also talk a lot with our students about what they can control. Yep. They will know what they know when they start the test, and they will not be able to cram in any more knowledge.
Yep.
But what they can control is their effort. They can control their attitude. They can control the level of focus as best as they can with the tools that they have and the coping strategies that they have built up during that time. And so focusing on, okay, here I am in this moment. What can I control?
Yes, agreed.
All right, so testing prep, we want to break it down a little bit. So we're first going to focus on what we do here at school. In each classroom, they do it a little differently, especially just with the teacher and the group, the age that they are as well. But all teachers have a couple weeks of breaking down and having their kids do just some practice questions where it looks just like the test. So they know what to expect. They know like the different features that would be available to them. There's a couple different ways that they do that, but they, like third grade, I was walking into a classroom one time and I saw that a teacher was doing that with their students, each question individually, whereas maybe the fifth graders would be practicing on their own and they just have a specific time that they're just using to practice. And so it just depends on the different level. But then we also teach problem solving strategies. What can you do when you're feeling stuck? How do you work through these things? How do you check your work? How to keep going when something just feels tricky. Maybe that's you put a flag on that question and you come back to it. All of those problem solving strategies. We also build stamina. So making sure that our kids are feeling a little bit more comfortable with the longer time that they're going to have to sit and do that test where they can't get up, they can't talk. It takes a lot out of the students to be able to do that, a lot of patience that they are needing, but we do that throughout every single part of our day, as well as we're doing different activities where they can build up that stamina in themselves. And then also, like Derek had been mentioning, like we're encouraging a positive and calm mindset. So if we can build up our students and understanding that, okay, you know what, like the more we can try, the more that we put our effort into it, the better we're going to be and the more calm we're going to feel. And that just kind of eases that stress as well. And so again, every conversation in the classroom looks a little different too. Whereas third grade, they're going to focus on, okay, what are those coping strategies? How can I deal with the fact that I don't know how this test is going to go. What can I do when I'm sitting here? Whereas fifth grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, they've done it for a year or two. They're a little bit more familiar. However, those conversations are also still good to have. And the teachers are still having some of those conversations of, okay, you know what? When it gets hard, what are you going to do? Because you can't come to me. You can't ask me these questions. I can't tell you the answer. So how are you going to cope? How are you going to continue on using that persistence, that grit that you have? And that, again, is practiced throughout all of the days that we are here at school. Is we are constantly challenging our students to pull out that grit.
Yep. So yeah, we just like you're saying, like there's specific things that we do leading up to the test, like a week or two before.
Yep.
But a lot of this stuff is done throughout the year. That's
Yep.
just saying. It's not, when we teach problem solving strategies, we're doing that all year.
Yeah.
When we're building stamina for longer tests, doing that all year.
Yep.
But again, like the first thing is we're doing that more like a week or two before, just to practice some of those test taking tools that are provided on the actual tests themselves. And to hit on that last point, it was really cool. When we encourage a positive and calm mindset, like we do that as a building.
Yeah.
We don't just do that in the classroom. On announcements, I'm announcing like, hey, today our third, fourth, and fifth graders are taking the math test. Make sure when you see them, you're wishing them good luck. And when we're going to PE and you're walking past their classrooms, make sure you're as quiet as you can be during those testing times, and that other teachers know. Today at lunch, I was doing lunch duty, and some second graders or a second grade teacher had come down and asked, a student who their buddy was. I'm like, what are you asking that for? And they said, well, our classroom buddies are going to make them cards, trying to pump them up and encourage them. So it's really cool to see how like the rest of the building rallies around the older kids, whether because they had those kids in class, the teachers had them, or students, like those are their friends, those are their siblings, their cousins, and just to see them rally around the kids, because they know it's a anxious time, it's a stressful time, and we just want those kids to try their best, and it's cool just to see everyone rally around them. So
Absolutely.
So talking about what we've do at school, start moving into what you can do at home. So this first one here is before testing. Right? This might be a couple days before, this might be the night before, or even, I guess we'll go in the morning up next, but some of the things you can try to do, and we'll have some caveats to some of these. Like the first one, for example, is relaxing evenings. We know that that's difficult when you have busy lives, right? We know that's hard when high school students are working a part-time job. We know that's tough when your kid has soccer practice,
Sports,
band, dance, whatever the case is, faith formation, religion class on Wednesdays. We know that's tough. So we're not asking you not to do those things, because those things are super beneficial. And I think the research would tell us that those are actually good things that help academics. But at the times when they are at home, maybe they get home at 7 or 8 o'clock at night, we're relaxing then. We're doing things that are low energy, that are soothing, ways that we can regulate our bodies. So having a consistent early bedtime is one of those things you can do. I know that's tough. We're speaking in the world of elementary, where it's easy to put your kid down at 7:30, 8:30 at night. When you have a high school, so maybe they're going to bed a little later than that. Maybe they're want to play video games or be on their phones before that. But a consistent bedtime, getting a good night's sleep too. So doing I'll combine the next two. So calming activities like reading and drawing or quiet play go along with getting a good night of sleep. If you're
something that's not overstimulating.
Yes, like my kids have tablets. We don't let our kids have tablets before bed. The blue light, that if it's a game or it's a video, it's too stimulating, where it's going to keep their mind awake, even though they might be tired. I think we've all been there where our kids have been overly tired, but they won't fall asleep. Right. So calming activities before bed, that will help that good night of sleep. And then also keeping your routines predictable. This one, in my opinion, is the most important thing. And again, we know that's tough. We know life happens, things come up, but those opportunities where you are able to be in control of your routine, make sure it's consistent with what you normally do. Right? Because, in our last learning session, we talked a lot about how dysregulation can come from routines being interrupted, whether that's bedtime routines, morning routines, or changes in life. Maybe there's a sick family member that's kind of throwing things off at home. and your students are struggling with that, or you guys are struggling with that. But keeping those routines as predictable as possible.
And if there is change, you could,
Yes.
communicate that earlier than maybe you would normally, as that can help continue with that predictability.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yep.
And all of these things too, I just want to add, wouldn't just be the day before. Like if you can be, thinking we're putting this out, on the Wednesday where we're starting testing on next Tuesday or this coming Tuesday, where you're taking the whole weekend to try to have consistent early bedtime and get a good night's sleep. All of that builds up to best support once Tuesday hits.
Yes. And are these things good to have as much as you can, even like when there's not testing going on?
Right.
Yeah, they are. But again, we know
Life happens, and
it's tough to do that all the time. So we're cognizant of that as well.
Yep. All right. So the specific days of testing, because we do have it spanning over 2 weeks, it kind of looks a little different, but again, this could be good for consistency as well of every single day. But on those specific days of testing, just like the night before, creating those relaxing and slow mornings. I know life happens again just in the mornings, and sometimes we are racing, we're rushing through things. Okay, you got a quick eat, let's go, we're going to be late. If you can slow it down a little bit, let them get some time to just eat that healthy breakfast, get to talk about how they're feeling, and then be able to just calmly come to school on time where they are just feeling at ease in every single step. Maybe that's as simple as like putting out their clothes the night before so that you can have just a little bit more of a restful, slow morning. If it's a shower at night versus in the morning, all the things that could potentially help them feel a little bit more calm in the morning. Then thinking about the words that you are using when you're talking with them, if you can think of just encouraging messages and words of just try your best, you've got this, I'm so proud of you, or, I believe in you, just take your time, all the things that are good reminders, and always leaving it kind of uplifting and encouraging for them. That way, they don't feel so much pressure when they already are probably potentially feeling some pressure when they have a test.
Yeah.
Coming up.
Yeah. And I think like here at DG, like I'm here doing, green kids every morning, and it's like we have kids that arrive at 7:30. We have kids that arrive right at 8:00.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever works best for your family. Maybe that week you're like, I'm gonna get my kids to school just a little bit earlier so they can go have breakfast at school instead. So I don't feel like I'm rushing them out the door trying to get them breakfast. Or maybe you're saying, I'm gonna get my kids to school a little closer to 8 so we can stay at home longer. So they can sleep in a little bit more maybe, or
I can cook a whole meal.
there you go.
If you can.
Me, for example, like a small thing I could do is me and my sons like rap music. So we are jamming on the way to school. Maybe instead of playing Eminem and 50 Cent, I could play something a little more relaxing, right? I could play some a little more.
But maybe if there's specific music that hypes them up and they're really excited about it and it'll help them walk in feeling confident. Yeah. Every student is different.
My kids are ready to run through a brick wall after listening to Eminem in the morning. So, whatever works for your kiddos.
Yes.
And then these are just some other helpful hints. We talked about what you can do, prior to testing, during testing. Just some other helpful hints. Again, that talk positively, but this about the test, right? I think it's easy, like say, I'm going to crush this test, or I hate testing. Like if we can shed light on the test a little differently, like as more of the opportunity to express our knowledge and to, this is a way that we can make learning better for our students or for us as kids. Like we have to think about like that lens, like, oh, well, maybe it's not so intimidating, or maybe I can see this as like a helpful thing versus something that's just going to stress me out, or something that's like judging me. Right. Encouraging your students to take their time and checking their work. Again, they have unlimited time. There's no rush. We don't also have to go super slow just to say you're taking your time, but double check those answers. Again, we celebrate effort here. We don't get our scores back until the fall, but we're celebrating those kids throughout the testing window, and they're earning an incentive, a reward, no matter what their score is. We got some pretty cool things that kids can choose from and earn rewards for. We're going to give that to them because of their effort, not because of the score. Help manage worries by keeping things in perspective. Something we talked about in our previous learning session as well was like sometimes as people and in kids too tend to catastrophize things, make things seem way bigger, making a mountain out of a molehill kind of thing. We can help manage those worries by keeping the test in perspective. Let's not overblow it. Let's not create unnecessary worry and make it seem like it's the end all be all.
But then also understand that that's truly how they view it too.
Yeah.
So being able to just be that comfort and say, you know what, like this doesn't define you. This doesn't, this isn't exactly all that you are. There's so much more to you. So if it doesn't go the way that you're hoping, that is okay. And we're still going to be here and we're going to move on together. So
yeah. And then like asking simple questions. I think like at the dinner table at night when you're, asking kind of run of the mill, like how was your day? How was your test today? How'd that go? Asking the simple questions, like, did you try your hardest on the test today? Yeah, I did. Oh, great. I'm really proud of you. Like,
or just how did it go?
Yeah.
Give them the space to be able to.
Right. We don't need to ask like, well, how much time did it take you? Like 25 minutes? I don't know. Like something that's just like some yes or no questions, something that you can, don't think you have to dig super deep. Keep those questions somewhat surface level. And if you sense that maybe you need to dig a little deeper because something's bothering you, not being completely honest for whatever reason, you can, but just be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Encouraging a growth mindset too. Growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. A growth mindset is verbiage like I can do hard things, or if I don't have this, I don't have it yet. Where a fixed mindset is I can't do this. This is way too hard. It's a completely different mindset. We want to encourage our kids to have a growth mindset. So make sure you're doing that at home. And also it comes along with like, when you hear your kids say it, like call it out. Like, you don't gotta be mean about it, but just like, hey, you can do it. I've seen you do it. You've done hard things. I know you can do hard things. Right. So,
yeah. So if your child is feeling anxious, we did talk about some of these things at our last family learning session. And so if you want to dive into that, we'll show you where that information is at as well, because that was recorded and we have our slides there too. But just in this realm of testing, if they're feeling anxious about it, we've got kind of 3 different steps. First, just listen, sit and listen. We as adults often want to fix. We just want to kind of interject and we don't, always realize that we're doing that, but we just need to give them the space to feel what they feel and share about it. In the ways that they feel comfortable. So we kind of just have to be silent and hear it all. After that kind of dumping of emotions, what we'd like to do is validate those emotions. Okay, I see that you're feeling nervous, or I hear that you're feeling really stressed about that, or oh gosh, I understand why you're feeling disappointed after that test because you didn't feel it went the way that you were hoping, or you questioned some of those questions that you had answered. You are validating their concerns and where they're at, no matter where it is. If, you guess and you're like, oh, I feel like you're, I'm thinking you're feeling anxious. And they're like, no, I'm not feeling anxious. I'm actually feeling very frustrated. That helps them. And we talked about this at our last family learning session as well, but that helps them to kind of broaden their scope of emotions as well and better identify, being able to differentiate as well. And it's not a bad thing for you to guess what they might be feeling. It helps just to clear up, provide some clarity of, okay, no, this is actually where they're feeling, and they will be able to guide that as well. And so then once all of those emotions are validated, then you can use a calming strategy together. If that means that you're doing it together, if they want to do it by themselves, maybe they can teach you some strategies that they have done here at school, as we have done a number of them in their classrooms. We also, because of our last family learning session, we provided a resource with a number of different calming strategies if you're feeling stuck and you're just not sure. But it could be as simple as deep breathing. They know a number of different deep breathing strategies. Maybe they're going to think it's kind of, I don't know. Maybe they're not going to be willing to do it. Maybe they're too cool for it. But to know, like, when they're worked up, regulating their nervous system is going to help the best. They could maybe you're doing some positive self-talk. Like Derek was talking about, just some of those things of like, no, like, you got this. Like, I believe in you. And then having them say, like, I can do this. I'm smart. I'm strong. I am capable. Maybe pull up a mirror or have them go to the bathroom mirror and stand and say it to themselves. So then, they're training their brain to also believe what they're saying. They see that they're saying it to themselves. And maybe it could just be as simple as reminding them, okay, when you're taking a test, take it one step at a time, one question at a time. Don't think about it as a huge overarching thing that's looming over you. Think about it in the little steps, and you can conquer each one at one time. And so that can just also help with some of those anxious feelings and thoughts. So it's okay to be nervous, and to let them know that it's okay to be nervous. It just means that your brain is getting prepared, getting ready for these big tests. So
this doesn't look like it, but it's a loaded slide.
It
There's
is
a lot of good stuff here.
It is.
Again, we're going to shamelessly plug our last one. Our last one had so much good stuff, good strategies, and really dives deep into this stuff right here. And it really ties in with ISASP testing and how you can help your kids at home and here at school. We can do it here as well, but set them up for success. Mm-hmm. So again, we'll show you how to access all those things here at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So just some things to remember, things to review here. We're encouraging effort and persistence, trying your best, and also working through it when it gets hard. Because those tests, depending on how you're doing, they actually change questions. Not every kid gets the same exact test, because the better you do, the harder the questions get. Or the more you're struggling, the less difficult they get. So it's responsive in that sense. So it's going to get hard even if you're doing well. Mm-hmm. Right? So every kid's going to be challenged on this test to keep working through it, even if it seems really hard. Celebrate trying hard, not just results, because you're not going to have the results anyway till the fall. So there's no point in celebrating them. Celebrate trying hard. Stay positive and supportive. Again, we're going to do that here.
Yeah.
Those kids need to know we're going to be here for you tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Stay positive, be supportive. Communicate with teachers if you have questions. Like if you don't know when you're testing or what time they're testing, or maybe have a dentist appointment, make sure you communicate that with teachers.
Absolutely.
Another thing to think about too is there are times where something happens in the morning, right? Like we've had it before where a kid's dog ran away in the morning and they get to school and they're in tears. I'm like, what's going on? Like my dog got out this morning. We haven't been able to get him.
Yeah.
And I got a phone call 30 minutes later from a parent saying, hey, we found the dog. Can you please let my son know that he's okay? And I made sure I marched right down there and told him, hey, everything's okay. Found the dog. Like those things happen. Mm-hmm. Do not ever hesitate to reach out. Even if you think it's trivial or silly, reach out to the school here. Like we care about that stuff.
And some of those things really set the tone for the rest of the day. So if there is something, to let us know, and we can handle with care, and we can be a little bit more understanding of, okay, we know the story, or at least a part of a piece of it to be able to help work through, cope, and build up again before those testing windows.
And if you're a parent that had a kid in band, chances are you've had to run an instrument up here in the morning. Kids, if they forget their instruments, they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that.
Yeah.
Their morning's thrown off.
Yeah.
So communicate with us. We'll make sure we pass the message along. And then I guess another thing here, super important. These tests don't define your child.
Yep.
We already told them that today. We will continue to tell them that they don't define your child's character, their integrity, or their intelligence. Okay. So try your hardest, but this is not a tell-all on what you are as a student.
All right. So in closing, really, when we are working together, if we can work together, have common language, same kind of message that we have here at school, what you guys are having at home, our students are going to feel the most supported, confident, and able to do their best. And so that is our goal here. Again, it's a lot about effort here at DG. We emphasize how important this is as well. And so when we can be on the same page together, we're going to see some confident kids walk in our door. So
for sure. Yes. So this last slide here, before we wrap up and actually go, we have some resources here. These things are really awesome. Sydney's done a lot of great research and finding these different activities you can do. We talked a lot about doing those activities before bed that are calming.
Mhm.
Maybe it's art, maybe it's reading. These are actually really good activities right here to do before bed, and it encourages a lot of the things we've been talking about. So these are actually located on the DG Family Hub. The DG families have access to these things. If you're not a DG family and you want access to these things, you can email me, D_Weber@Union, or you can email Miss Sanford here as
Mhm.
well. And we can get you that
Yep.
link, because if you have the link, you can access all the things on it. So again, here are the resources that we're going to click on here. So all you gotta do is click on the Family Hub, go to it. It takes you right to the page. These are our family learning sessions. This is the first one we did. We have actual videos on YouTube of us presenting it. We have the slides. We have and the different resources we talk about in that presentation. Yep. Similarly, we'll have this one filled with this video tomorrow. We'll have the slideshow that we just presented to you. And then we got some cool ones here. Like this one right here is a test taking tip.
It's like an I Spy.
Yes. Yes. And again,
and you can color, you can count.
Something that's nice to do relaxing right before
bed.
Looking back to this one here, my plan for test prep success. If you're a person that likes to write things out, a plan, or have goals, like this one's really nice to fill out. What you can do the night before the test, like organizing your backpack or packing it up beforehand, setting out your clothes, things we already mentioned. This one's really cool. I think I'm gonna do this one when my kids are ISASP testing.
Well, it gives great opportunities for conversation too. If they're not, as maybe open about how they're feeling, maybe it could be like, okay, here's some to-dos and how can we approach it? Let's do this together. Like we're a team as well. And I want you to do your best. And then maybe through that conversation, it comes with how they're feeling and what they can do as well. So,
and when kids feel like they have a plan for the day, they also feel confident.
Yeah.
And they're not worried about what's happening next. They have this plan here. Boom, here we go.
And they're more in control of those things too.
Right. These are kind of cool. Motivational cards. Maybe you're a high school parent or a middle school parent or have kids in upper elementary where they're kind of responsible for getting themselves to school, whether they're walking or riding their bike. These are things you can put on like the bathroom mirror, or on the counter. This one says, "Do not stress, just do your best." Hey, smarty pants, relax, kid. I know you'll do great. So there's some different cool ones here. I think it'd be cool to actually buy a donut and put that little with it. I wish like my wife would do that for me. Like that'd be awesome. So then this one, I'm going to take credit. I created this.
You did.
It wasn't that hard, but
and copy and paste.
I copy and pasted right from the slides. This is just a review of the things we've already talked about. This is something I can see myself hanging up on the refrigerator at home. Just as a reminder to myself and to the kids, those things we talked about pretty in depth. Motivational test taking notes.
Same kind of thing as what we had shown before.
Yes.
Just different ones.
Yep. Really cool things. A lot of good stuff there. Our teachers do a lot of that kind of stuff already. This one's kind of cool. It's just a word bank or a fill in the blank. You got the word bank up here. You can work on that with your student at home. Like another good activity to do right before bed. It's not like a hard one. It's not homework. A self-talk search.
Like if they are not putting up with saying it in front of the mirror in front of you, maybe what they can do is sit and do a word search, and they're looking for those I am statements or I can statements, where then that is trained in their brain. It's already in practice as they're looking for it, so that when they're during their test, if they're feeling stuck, they can remind themselves of the
and also to have, when we talk about doing these relaxing evenings and doing activities for bed, like having fun with it too. Like doing this would be fun with my kids. Or my kids are competitive, so I might want to print off a couple of copies so we can compete against each other and see who did it faster. But also like saying these things aloud, not just filling it out or highlighting it, having those conversations. And then there's a answer key there. So that's pretty cool. So again, like the Family Hub, I'm gonna plug it again. A lot of great stuff on here. There's family resources, there's field trips, there's recess rules, there's schedules, lunch schedule, behavior matrix, handbooks, all the good stuff. And also this one's pretty cool too. This time of the year, a lot of sports, a lot of activities going on. If you're interested in those things, we got the activities, we got the contacts for those. Pretty cool. So family learning sessions right there in the middle. Check out the last one. Use these resources as well. Some good stuff on there. we're gonna wrap up.
Yep.
It's like 7:30 here.
Yeah.
We're ready to go and get some sleep. But if you have questions,
Yeah.
please email us.
And if you're listening from another building, like if your child attends a different school in our district, maybe building principal and counselor could also be helpful, but you are more than welcome to email us as well.
Yeah, some of the things we talked about don't apply exactly to the other buildings, but for the most part, we're pretty similar in a lot of things. But again, if you want links to these resources here too, and you don't have access to stuff, email one of us. We'll get you that link.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining us. Take the time.
Yes, thank you.
We really are excited to get the testing underway. We're really excited for our kids to be able to show what they know, and to hopefully have a little bit of confidence in doing so. I was going to say fun, but they're not going to have fun. Let's be honest. So,
but the effort that they're going to show,
yes,
and the potential rewards that they may get from that.
Yep. So
help them keep being motivated.
I agree.
Yeah.
So good luck to your kids on ISASP. Make sure you're telling them how proud you are of them and to work hard. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys later.
Have a good night.